We know that the Chicago Bulls denied the New York Knicks' request to interview head coach Billy Donovan. But could the New York Knicks circle back to try to interview Billy Donovan again? We got to talk about some speculation or some whispers that's going on around the league. And some more speculation on today's episode with Billy Donovan possibly receiving an extension to continue his tenure with the Chicago Bulls. Lots to talk about and break down on today's daily episode. But you already know, before we get right into it, you gotta hear the music first. Cognac gang. Shy Boys Podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down for another episode right over here on Shy Boys Podcast. So if you're tuned in with me today, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell as well. Now, this is not coming from Casey Johnson in a way that he's reporting it, but it is just some of the things that he's hearing out there in the NBA world regarding the current head coaching search for the New York Knicks. Casey Johnson was on a show on CHSN, so a Chicago sports network, and he made it clear he's not reporting it, but there is some speculation that the New York Knicks could circle back and try to interview Chicago Bulls head coach Billy Donovan again. He did mention that the situation is fluid, pretty much saying that Billy Donovan is a loyal guy and he values his current relationship with the Chicago Bulls organization, but he is hearing whispers that the New York Knicks could circle back and try to interview some of the candidates from teams that denied them originally, and Billy Donovan could be one of those teams that the New York Knicks circle back to. He did bring up certain things about Billy Donovan being a Long Island native, talking about the relationship with Maurice Cheeks over there with the New York Knicks, talking about the working relationship that he once had with Jalen Brunson, also mentioning that the situation is fluid. Nothing being reported right now, but definitely some speculation going on surrounding the state of head coach Billy Donovan. But let's talk about it. Look, if the Chicago Bulls trying to figure out some things, they need to figure this shit out. That's just how I'm looking at it. I was on record and sitting right here in the same chair, right here on the same podcast, breaking it down like, hey, AK has let us know where he stands when it comes to head coach Billy Donovan. I understand that the record with the Chicago Bulls is not good for the sake of Billy Donovan. But from my estimation, I believe that Billy Donovan will be here with the Chicago Bulls for the foreseeable future. Now, if Billy Donovan suddenly feels like, hey, I made it to the Hall of Fame, I spent a decent amount of time here in Chicago, let me get an opportunity to go to New York and coach a different team and allow the Chicago Bulls to move on, I ain't gonna lie to you, I won't be upset. But I just don't think it's gonna happen. I think that Billy Donovan is here to stay. I think that Billy Donovan values the relationship that he has with Jerry Reinsdorf and Arturis. I think that Billy Donovan is out to prove that he can absolutely turn this ship around. But things change. Opportunities come up. Maybe it's something that the Chicago Bulls explore. Maybe that could be something that the Chicago Bulls can get in return for Billy Donovan by sending him over there to the New York Knicks. I don't know. But what I do know is that this is where we are. I always say it. This is where we are with the Chicago Bulls franchise. And I expect Billy Donovan to stand firmly where he is. Now, it is a fluid situation because I've been strongly criticizing the New York Knicks for the last 48 to 72 hours about their decisions about cutting and firing former head coach now, Tom Thibodeau. Talk all the smack about him, what you want, but let's call a spade a spade. He is a culture setter. He is a team builder. He can turn your team around. Now, if he can go out there and capture a championship, that's still a question that's out there for a lot of us NBA fans. But what we do know right now, hey, the New York Knicks look like they made a huge mistake firing Tom Thibodeau, and now they're just trying to poach a coach from somebody else's team. Look, I don't necessarily know how Billy Donovan currently feel about the state of the Chicago Bulls, but I think that Billy Donovan should feel good. I don't necessarily believe that Billy Donovan is a culture builder per se, but with what he has currently on the team or what they could be potentially going into moving forward should be something that's very intriguing with them. I expect Josh Giddey to go out there and get signed by the Chicago Bulls, so that's a plus. Kobe White is still presently on the team, so that's a plus. You got a young guy that you can run with who has a lot of potential, and we'll see if he can eventually be that superstar in Montes Buzelis. And then you have a number of young, talented players on your squad. You still have Alonzo Ball. You still have an Ayo Dosunmu. You've seen Dalen Terry take a step forward, and you want to see him continue to grow with the team. Big year coming from Dalen Terry, by the way. And you could potentially have a really, really good player coming in here from the draft versus looking at the New York Knicks. They have a really good team over there, but they have their fair share of issues as well. They don't have the bench that we all thought they would eventually have. They absolutely need to go out there and tool that around. And they don't have many assets because they traded 5 picks for Mikal Bridges, who's not even an all-star. Crazy work. But I think the situation as it currently stands right now, hey, you could probably get a nod to the New York Knicks if we keeping it a buck. But I think that you might feel a little bit better coaching these young guys in Chicago to see if they can turn this ship around, which would be very, very interesting. Now, I want to preface all this by saying this is speculation. But if the New York Knicks circle back around, and if let's just say the Chicago Bulls go out there and say, all right, go ahead and interview him, that's going to let us know some changes might be coming to the head coaching position for the Chicago Bulls because you denied them first. But if you go out there and approve the next one, that means y'all had some conversations internally about the future of Billy Donovan and where y'all want to go for the next iteration of the Chicago Bulls. And you hope that the front office can get the right guy up in here to do business. So we'll see. We'll see. Now, before we get up out of here, we got to talk about some other things and why it could potentially affect these decisions that's going on with the Chicago Bulls and the New York Knicks. According to Cody Westerlund, there was some speculation at NBA Combine that Billy Donovan and the Bulls would get an extension done sometime this offseason. And this development with the Bulls declining the interview from the New York Knicks lends credence to that thought. So some very interesting stuff. Look, I'm not on the side that's saying Billy Donovan needs an extension. Don't get it misconstrued about anything or how I feel about Billy Donovan. I think Billy Donovan is a good head coach. He's not a great head coach. I don't think Billy Donovan is one of those coaches that can go out there and help a lesser team win multiple playoff games or a playoff series. I don't think he's that. I do think he's a good head coach, but I do stand on the side of if you talking extension, what has Billy Donovan done to receive an extension? Let him play out the secret contract you already gave him. I don't even know how many years the man has left on the current deal. But let's just say it's 2 years. Let him play it out. Let's say it's 1 year. Let him play it out. I don't think that the Chicago Bulls front office should be moving in any type of direction with re-signing Billy Donovan before we see what he does this season. And if you see a significant amount of improvement from young players, it's not going to all be winning losses for me, even though I think that will be a plus. I want to see, do you have the effect to have Montes Buzelis be the player a lot of us believe he can be. I want to see if you can put Josh Giddey in a position to where he's now consistently good for an entire season. I want to see if you, head coach Billy Donovan, can have Kobe White finally thrive all season long without switching his damn role. And what do you do with the bench? Do we see more out of Julian Phillips and Dalen Terry? Does Patrick Williams finally stop going to the damn flower shop and planting flowers and actually play some damn basketball? I want to see those type of things before we talk any kind of extension for Billy Donovan. Real talk. Because at the end of the day, we don't need to be locking ourselves up to anything that don't make sense. I get it. Let him play the few years out for the contract. I'm with that. But I ain't with no extensions. And we still got questions if this guy can help transform these young guys into a contending playoff team before we can start talking about what additional players we need on a team or what additional steps we need to take to see if we can finally get to an ECF and then compete for the finals. It's progress. We want to see significant progress in Chicago. Don't get it misconstrued. Good head coach, but how good are you? Is what we still trying to figure out when it comes to Billy Donovan. Y'all already snuck the last deal under the table. I don't even know how much the deal was worth. And look, it ain't my money on, but that don't mean nothing. We still should have found out how many years and how much money you was on there. I think there's speculation at that time that he signed an extension for 3 years. Nah, we can't ride with that. We cannot ride with that. No, not another 3 years until we see significant steps forward. No. I'm not the biggest critic or the biggest hater or the biggest, whatever when it comes to Billy Donovan. There's a lot of people that are more harsh on Billy Donovan than me, Bobby. But I think everybody is in total agreement that we cannot sit here and have Billy damn Donovan receive an extension with the way that the Chicago Bulls have underperformed and have been in the play-in and have been in mediocrity for the last few seasons. Look, it's not all on Billy Donovan. We've seen a number of injuries. We've seen a number of changes. We've seen the front office be reluctant to make certain moves. We've seen it. So that's where the grace come in, at least a little bit for me. But no extension should be given to Billy Donovan, in my personal opinion. And the front office need to get their shit together too before we talk extensions for their ass. That's how I'm looking at it. Everybody need to be on their P's and Q's and get their stuff together before we talk about any type of extensions for anybody. But hey, that's what we have at for today's episode, man. Y'all let me know how y'all feeling about all things discussed. Go ahead and chime in on all the stuff that's going on. It's a lot of speculation around the Chicago Bulls, but I feel like it was noteworthy to talk about it and discuss it because it's very, very important to see the direction of the Chicago Bulls, not when it just comes to players, but when it comes to coaching and when it comes to the damn front office. We need to be better as an organization as much as we go out here and support this team. We do. And there's some positivity. I'm probably more positive than most, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to be oblivious or be naive to what these guys need to be putting on the damn basketball court so we can win basketball games. Seriously. So y'all let me know how y'all think about everything discussed today, about the fluid situation with the Knicks potentially circling back, and then also about a potential extension coming to head coach Billy Donovan. All things Billy Donovan on today's episode. But hey, that is it for me, y'all. Go ahead and hit that comment box below, and y'all let me know how y'all feeling, man. Thank y'all so much. Make sure y'all always see red, and y'all already know. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one for sure. Cognac.